How's it going, YouTube? Coming in today with another video, and today what I have to bring to you is going to be Master Duel Striker Draco. Now, this deck was a massive deck in the TCG, and it was a little outshined by Striker Orcust at the time in 2019, but this deck, had the format went a little longer, I think it would have been the best deck of the format. The deck itself is really crazy, and now we have Masterpiece, where when we had it before, we didn't even have Masterpiece. But now we have 3 engaged and 3 diagram. It's going to be pretty fire. It's going to be a lot of fun to play, and I highly recommend it. So if you haven't already checked out my sponsors over on Imperium Duelist, to Dragonshield, Gem, Cloud, RAW, or Grimoire, definitely go ahead and do so, all down below in the description. Subscribe to the channel also if you haven't already, for more news, tips, and tricks. But without further ado, let's hop into the video. And then also, if you haven't already checked out the TCGPlayer Shop, or if you want to buy cards in TCGPlayer, use my link down below. Costs nothing for you to do it, and it only supports the channel. Thank you so much. So, the absolute unit that is Masterpiece. If you're unaware of what Masterpiece is, you can tribute cards to summon this, including continuous spells and traps. If you tribute, like, monsters and spells, then your Masterpiece is unaffected by monsters and spells. If you tribute monster spells and traps, then it's unaffected by monster spells and traps. And then it gets a quick effect destruction as well by banishing a continuous spell or trap from your graveyard. So, pretty crazy card. It's a towers that is just absolutely absurd. There's quite a few reasons why this card got banned. But before, there wasn't as many answers to towers as there are now. Does that really make it that much healthier? Not necessarily, but we do have it now. But Master Duel is kind of like the Wild West anyway. There's a lot of things on there that just shouldn't be legal. Maxi. But you know how that works. And they also have like Scythe legal and like all this other crazy things. So now that we have this, we also have like Nightmare Mermaid and Goblin, which those cards were so jarring before, and I think Mermaid still will be even without Ibli. But at the same time, Goblin might not be. I don't know. We'll have to see, because we used to have decks that like literally just link spammed like crazy. We don't really have things like that now, so we'll have to see. If we got Goblin back in the TCG, which it might happen, I suppose, I could really see it being like a Malice combo deck into like Goblin, into additional normal summons. Format Skipper is my favorite card, and then you can't really do much else besides like normaling that. Even though you don't necessarily like need your normal summon in most scenarios, it is nice to have it as an option. So I'm sure we'll see like some kind of cool combo deck come out with it, but that's neither here nor there. Right now we have Masterpiece in Striker Draco, which is fantastic, and you might be like, well, why would you want a monster in your main monster zone to block all your spells and traps? But at the end of the day, this is such a crazy boss monster, and you play cards like Droplet to circumvent that, and your opponent also has to deal with the Masterpiece. So the second they're able to deal with it is when you're like, alright, cool, start using all of your spells and traps, which is absolutely fantastic. But again, if you ever see that the Masterpiece is going to be outed, using cards like Droplet to get rid of it so you can use the rest of your back row, and then even bring it back with like a true King's Return, right? There's only one card that we're missing in Master Duel, which is really unfortunate, and that's Set Rotation. Now, this is a major missing piece from what we had prior, because you give yourself Diagram, you give them Area 0, you'll use Diagram and get to a Heritage or a Disciple, you'll activate Diagram, then activate Heritage or Disciples, then Diagram pop the on-field Heritage or Disciples, and then you'll be able to use that to pop the Area 0 to summon away from deck, which is dope. And then you also want to make sure they're on field so you get the credit from Heritage to be able to draw because they were sent from the field. But why do these two archetypes work so well together? One of the things that you really got to consider is the fact that you get major board clear just using these cards. They also give you a really solid go first option in Striker, which is something that is really hard to come by nowadays, because in the deck, you're naturally not really wanting to go first, so having an option to go first is really nice. You get a lot of draws off of like the Heritage and the Disciples, you get protection with the Return and the Apocalypse, you can also send these cards with Area 0 or with multi-roll to be able to board clear, which is really nice. And then you also have your best opener, which is Area 0 plus Heritage or Disciple, because you go area 0, target one of them, engages at 3 now, hopefully hit like engage or something good, right? And then you can send these, use area 0 to then summon Ray from deck after you pop it with one of these. You only play one Ray because you don't want to lose a lot of consistency in the deck. And that's something that was really popular even before. You could play like 2 Ray, but a lot of times it was 1 Ray, and then you play 1 Ignis, and then 1 of the Dynamite Knight. I am also playing, of course, the 1 Masterpiece now, but you want to keep your monster count low, as this deck is really reliant on seeing most of your spells. In this list I'm about to show you, I'm only playing 2 Area 0. You can bump that up to 3 if you want, which is fine in this build particularly, because again, you're using the 2 Draco cards to board clear and get more draws. This is also very good for your spell count, as you get spell count very quickly. Now, here's a rough list of the Master Duel Striker Draco deck. This is something that I couldn't do on there just yet, because not all the cards are on there till tomorrow, I believe. But we do have the one of each of the 2 Dracos. We're playing 3 Maxi, of course, 1 Ray, 2 Disciples, and 3 Heritage. You really want to make sure that you have enough of the spells, so if you draw like Area 0 plus a spell, you have full combo anyway. 3 Diagram, Terraforming's banned, of course, that and Set Rotation, which is really unfortunate. 3 Droplet, because again, I don't like things in my main monster zone. I want to be able to get rid of it at will if I need to. The Burner, the Shark Cannon, the Hornet Drone, nothing else really too crazy. Playing 2 and 2 of Thrust and Tactics. I think they're both really necessary. Thrust is broken in this deck, but also Talent's just very good. You could cut Talent down to 1 and then play 2 Thrust, 1 Talent, and then make room for something else. I personally always really love the 2-2 ratio, though, in Striker. I think is just correct. But again, correct is relative in this game because people can top with some crazy lists. As far as the extra goes, we do have Camellia, which is just broken. It's so good. Having like a true Draco on board and like normal summoning Maxi and then just going Camellia is absolutely crazy. So play 2 Camellia because again, it's your quickest way back into your engine. Again, this is another reason why we don't have to run so many copies of Ray, because once you get 1 in rotation, you can just access your engine anyway. It doesn't really matter. You can always loop back to your Hornet Drone. Multi-roll also is a continuous spell, so keep that in mind when you are trying to get out to a Draco, because you can distribute multi-roll, which is absolutely broken. Then you can just get it back with like Kagari. I really do love this list a lot, and there's other cards that you could add in and try out, so definitely feel free to just kind of mess around with the different ratios and different cards. But I do think that this deck is going to be a huge threat to the meta. Same thing with Striker Orcus right now, though, with Mermaid, because that's just going to be broken again. But I do like this a lot. Being able to have Masterpiece again is pretty crazy. Nobody really saw this ban list coming. It was really out of left field. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But it's definitely going to be interesting. And I want to make sure I show you this too. This is going to be the relative cost of the deck. I'm assuming Masterpiece is going to be UR. Ironically, the counter Masterpiece is also UR. And then I have 2 Pseudospace in there, which are also SR, because it's going to be 3 Diagram. But this is the rough cost of what the deck will be. Quite a few URs, unfortunately, but I do hope that, you know, you are able to get to this, because it does look like it's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, I still have a long way to go, because I don't really play that much Master Duel, so I always am scrapping cards and then using it to make other cards. Right now, I have almost a full Horus tier list on there. I'm just not on Master Duel too much. But I think I'm about to with Striker Draco, because it's about to be a lot of fun. I personally love this deck. But I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, follow my Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and join my Discord. I'll catch you all in the next video. Thank you.